Adding and subtracting fractions with chocolate bars.
Kayla walks into the kitchen to find a chocolate bar sitting on the table. She was on a diet, so she didn't want to eat the whole thing. She decided that she would eat 1/3 of the chocolate bar. How much of the chocolate bar would be left after she eats some?
First, let's find out how many squares of the chocolate bar represent some simple fractions. That way, it will be easier later on to do the addition and subtraction.
If you take a chocolate bar and break it up into 3 equal pieces, each piece has 4 squares of chocolate. This means that 1/3 of the chocolate bar has 4 squares. If you take the same chocolate bar and break it up into 4 equal pieces, each piece has 3 squares in it. This means that 1/4 of the bar equals 3 squares.
Now pause the video and try to find the number of squares that the following fractions represent. If you got these answers, then you're correct.
Now that we know how many squares of chocolate each fraction represents, let's go back to the problem.
Starting off, there are 12 squares of chocolate. We know from the earlier calculations that if Kayla eats 1/3 of the bar, she would be eating 4 squares. Now there are 8 squares left. So if you put this in fraction form, then you would get 12/12 minus 4/12 equals 8/12. In simple terms, it would look like this. 1 minus 1/3 equals 2/3.
Let's try another problem.
After Kayla eats her chocolate, her brother Rick comes into the kitchen. He wants to eat some chocolate too. He feels bad eating the rest of the bar, so he decides to eat 1/4 of the initial bar. How much of the bar left after he eats some?
We know that after Kayla ate her chocolate, there were 8 squares left. Rick is going to eat 1/4 of the initial bar, which from our earlier calculations we know is 3 squares. Now there are 5 squares left. So if we put this in fraction form, we would get 8/12 minus 3/12 equals 5/12. In simpler terms, it would look like this. 2/3 minus 1/4 equals 5/12. Now let's try an addition problem.
How much chocolate did Kayla and Rick eat together?
Let's see what we already know. Kayla ate 1/3 of the bar. 1/3 of the bar is 4 squares. Rick ate 1/4 of the bar. 1/4 of the bar is 3 squares.
So using what we know, let's find the answer. We're trying to figure out how much Kayla and Rick ate together. Kayla ate 1/3 and Rick ate 1/4. We know that 1/3 is 4 squares and 1/4 is 3 squares, so 4 squares plus 3 squares equals 7 squares. This means that 1/3 plus 1/4 equals 7/12.